Joshua versus Usyk. Love, love this fight. September 25th going down over across the pond. 60,000 fans. This is what's great about boxing right here. Fights like this. Miss me with the pushing fights back. Miss me with all of the Fury versus Wilder drama. Hit me with this. Confirmations of fights being signed, guys testing each other. That's what this is right here. Usyk is testing himself against one of the top heavyweights in the world, the most consistent heavyweight in the world, in his third heavyweight fight after his run at cruiserweight. And Joshua is once again saying, look, man, I can't get the Fury fight right now, so give me Usyk. You know, he could easily sit back and wait for that fight to happen. You know, they might try to strip him or something like that, but he could have easily tried to weasel himself out of this fight and waited for Fury versus Wilder to develop, but no. Instead, what we're getting is a great fight in September. It's an intriguing matchup for several reasons. Before I get to that, I want to praise Joshua first, because Joshua's a guy, both of these guys, they're both guys who have faced or tried to face the top opposition in their division. Usyk obviously did that at cruiserweight, cleaning out that division before moving up to heavyweight. But Joshua is a guy who has been consistently fighting the best competition in front of him, defending titles. I mean, he's been in there with Klitschko, Takam, Parker, Povetkin, Ruiz twice, Pulev, and now Usyk. That's a nice little run there at heavyweight. That's a nice little 3 to 4 year run there at heavyweight that he's going on. And, you know, he's a breath of fresh air in the heavyweight division, because we got two guys at the top of the division right now in Fury versus Joshua who aren't necessarily great representatives of the heavyweight division, right? I mean, Fury barely ever defends his titles. Wilder comes with a lot of baggage. You know, they're like two beautiful women who have had multiple divorces. You know, they come with baggage. They come with, you know, all the baggage that comes along with that. Whereas Joshua is a guy who is right there, whether you have him number 2, number 3 in the division, he's right there, lurking. And he's consistently doing the right things and wanting to fight the top opposition in the heavyweight division. And for me, that's what I go for. That's what I value as a boxing fan. I want to see the guys who test themselves against the best opposition out there. So props to Joshua for that. And props for Usyk once again for being aggressive and saying, even in my third fight at heavyweight, I want to fight one of the top guys in the division, arguably the top guy in the division. But what's intriguing about this matchup is both these guys come with vulnerabilities, right? Like Usyk is a guy who doesn't quite look like he's acclimated to the heavyweight division yet. I mean, he had the fight with Chisora, the fight with Witherspoon, where it just didn't seem like he's a top heavyweight yet, right? So we have to question whether this guy has the power to deal with guys. Like, stepping up to heavyweight from cruiserweight to heavyweight is not like moving from welterweight to middleweight, right? I mean, you're facing guys, big heavyweights. Fury's a big heavyweight. Joshua's a big heavyweight. Although Wilder's somewhere around 230, that's not considered a big heavyweight now. He's a guy who has big heavyweight power. So Usyk is dealing with guys who are big heavyweights. This is a big move. This is a big step up. You know, there's a reason we value Evander Holyfield as one of the greatest fighters of all time, moving up from cruiserweight to heavyweight in a strong heavyweight era. All right, so Usyk can try to do the same thing. Although in a weaker era, it's still a big move because you're facing big heavyweights. And he's facing a guy in Joshua who is one of the 2 or 3 most, what would we say, 2 or 3 most popular fighters in the sport right now. And he's stepping up and fighting him in his third fight in the division. So props to Usyk as well. What makes this an intriguing matchup for me is they both come with vulnerabilities, right? Joshua is a guy who showed vulnerabilities in the Ruiz fight, the first one, obviously. And that's okay because I enjoy watching vulnerable fighters. I enjoy guys who You say, you know what? I don't know how he would do. Although he's technically much better than Wilder, I don't know how he would do against Wilder, because what if Wilder gets to his chin? I enjoy fighters like that who show vulnerabilities in the ring. And as far as Joshua goes, the chin is his vulnerability, obviously. The survival skills once he gets hurt. He showed that against in the first fight against Ruiz, is those are his vulnerabilities. What makes this an intriguing matchup, and a good matchup for him on paper, is Usyk's not a guy who would likely test that chinny chin, right? He's not a guy that you would say, I don't think that he's going to get to Joshua's chin. Being a smaller heavyweight, being a guy who you don't think of as a big puncher at heavyweight, but he's a big name. So on paper, it's a good matchup for Joshua. On paper, it's also a good matchup for Usyk, in that out of the top 3 heavyweights, this is the most winnable fight for Usyk out of the 3 top heavyweights. When you put him up there against Wilder, you say, I don't know if Usyk can handle Wilder's power. Is he naturally heavyweight enough to deal with the biggest heavyweight puncher in boxing? And I think he matches up better with Joshua than he does with Fury, who is a very big heavyweight, 6'9". He can get up to 260, 270. So you're dealing with a lot of weight there that Usyk will be giving up. Although Joshua's a big heavyweight too, Fury just gives you a more complex matchup, whereas Joshua is a little bit more straight up and down robotic for Usyk to deal with. So out of the top 3 heavyweights, if you're going to pick one that Usyk would beat, I think this is the guy that it would be. So good matchup on paper for both guys. Both guys come with vulnerabilities. And I like the matchup, man. I like the matchup a lot. I like the big fight atmosphere that this is going to bring. I like the big fight vibes that this will bring. And Usyk will be a healthy underdog, but, you know, you still give him a shot in this because he's Usyk. Because he's technically sound guy, a great boxer. You give him a shot in this. And if he does pull this off, what a feat that would be. And if Joshua pulls this off, then he's angled himself into undisputed territory, to where he waits for Wilder. He wins his fight on September 25th. He waits for Wilder and Fury to figure it out. And then we hopefully get to undisputed. So love the matchup. Y'all let me know what y'all think. And I put the poll out. I put the poll out there with 70% had this going for had Joshua winning this fight. And about 20%, 25% had Usyk winning this fight, like 5% draw. So 7 out of 10 people in my poll are thinking that Joshua wins this fight, which sounds about right. Sounds about right. So hit me up. Let me know what y'all think about this fight, man. Peace. God bless.